Is your bank account about to get a surprise $3,000 deposit this month? Are millions of Americans truly on the verge of receiving a game-changing financial boost? Senator Bernie Sanders has just announced a bold new proposal that could put thousands of dollars directly into the pockets of Social Security, SSI, and SSDI recipients across America. But what's the real story behind these headlines? And will this money actually make it to your account? Welcome back to the channel, where we bring you the most important updates on Social Security, retirement benefits, and financial relief programs. Today, we're diving deep into Senator Sanders' groundbreaking proposal that's creating waves across Washington and giving hope to millions of Americans struggling with rising costs. Stay with me until the end to learn exactly what this proposal includes, who qualifies, and the critical timeline you need to know about. The cost of living crisis has hit Americans hard, especially those living on fixed incomes. With inflation driving up the price of everything from groceries to healthcare, millions of seniors and disabled Americans have been forced to make impossible choices between medications, food, and keeping their homes warm. It's a situation that Senator Bernie Sanders has called morally unacceptable in the wealthiest country on earth. In response to this growing crisis, Senator Sanders has introduced what might be his most ambitious proposal yet, a comprehensive relief package aimed directly at the most vulnerable Americans. At the heart of this proposal is a $3,000 one-time emergency payment that would go directly to all Social Security, Supplemental Security Income, SSI, and Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, recipients. This would be paired with a permanent $200 monthly increase to regular benefit payments. But what's driving this unprecedented proposal? The truth is that traditional cost of living adjustments simply haven't kept pace with the real expenses that seniors and disabled Americans face. While the Social Security Administration announced a 2.7% COLA increase for 2025, many experts argue this falls far short of addressing the actual inflation experienced by benefit recipients, especially when it comes to healthcare, housing, and food costs. When I talked to seniors in Vermont and across this country, Sanders said in his announcement speech, "I hear the same story over and over again. Their Social Security checks disappear before the month even ends. They're skipping meals, cutting pills in half, and some are even facing homelessness despite working their entire lives. This is not just an economic crisis, it's a moral failure of our government." The senator's proposal has already garnered significant support from progressive lawmakers and advocacy groups representing seniors and disabled Americans. Organizations like the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare have praised the plan as the bold action needed in this moment of unprecedented economic hardship. So how exactly would this $3,000 payment work? According to the proposal, the payment would be a tax-free, one-time emergency relief deposit sent directly to all Americans currently receiving Social Security retirement benefits, SSI, or SSDI. The payment would not count as income for determining eligibility for other federal assistance programs, ensuring that recipients wouldn't lose access to Medicaid, SNAP, or housing assistance as a result. But what about the $200 monthly increase? This represents a permanent structural change to the benefit calculation formula, essentially providing an across-the-board boost that would compound with future cost of living adjustments. For the average Social Security recipient currently receiving around $1,900 monthly, this would represent a more than 10% increase in their regular benefits, a significant lifeline in these challenging economic times. You might be wondering, how would the government pay for such an ambitious program? Sanders has proposed funding the package through a combination of increased taxes on ultra-wealthy Americans and corporations. Specifically, his proposal includes closing tax loopholes that benefit the top 1% of earners and implementing a more progressive tax structure for annual incomes above $10 million. When billionaires pay lower effective tax rates than teachers and nurses, Sanders explained, we have the resources to ensure no senior goes hungry or cold. This isn't about charity, it's about justice and honoring our commitments to those who built this country. Is there precedent for this kind of direct payment? Actually, yes. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Congress authorized multiple rounds of stimulus payments that went directly to American households. These payments were widely credited with preventing a much deeper economic crisis and prove that the government has both the capability and mechanisms to distribute funds quickly when political will exists. But the question remains, will this proposal actually become law? And if so, when might Americans see these payments? This is where we need to be absolutely clear about the current status of the proposal. Despite the excitement surrounding Sanders' announcement, this legislation is still in its early stages and faces several significant hurdles before becoming reality. The proposal will need to pass both the House of Representatives and the Senate before reaching the President's desk for signature. With the current political landscape in Washington, securing the necessary votes will be challenging. Republican lawmakers have already voiced opposition to the plan, citing concerns about federal spending and potential inflationary impacts. Senator Mike Johnson of Louisiana, a key Republican on the Senate Finance Committee, released a statement calling the proposal fiscally irresponsible and a political stunt rather than serious policy. Democratic leadership, however, has signaled openness to the concepts behind Sanders' plan, though many moderate Democrats have expressed reservations about the specific funding mechanisms. What does this political reality mean for you? While the $3,000 deposited this month headline might be premature, the proposal does represent a significant shift in the conversation around Social Security benefits and economic relief for vulnerable Americans. If passed in its current form, the legislation would direct the Social Security Administration to begin processing the one-time payments within 30 days of enactment, with the $200 monthly increases beginning the following month. But now let's talk about what you really want to know. Do you qualify for these potential benefits? Under the current proposal, eligibility is straightforward. If you receive any form of Social Security retirement benefits, supplemental security income, or Social Security disability insurance, you would automatically qualify for both the one-time payment and the monthly increase. There would be no application process or income limitations beyond those already in place for the underlying benefit programs. For those receiving multiple benefits, for example, both SSDI and SSI, the proposal currently states that individuals would receive only one $3,000 payment, not multiple payments. However, each benefit stream would see the $200 monthly increase applied separately. The impact of these proposed changes would be life-changing for many Americans. Consider Maria, a 78-year-old widow from Chicago who receives $1,400 monthly in Social Security benefits. The one-time $3,000 payment would allow her to finally repair her home's heating system before winter, while the additional $200 monthly would mean she no longer has to choose between her heart medication and adequate groceries. Or think about James, a 52-year-old former construction worker in Arizona who became disabled after a workplace accident 5 years ago. Living on $1,200 monthly SSDI benefits, he's fallen behind on his mortgage payments. The proposed relief would not only help him catch up but provide the ongoing support needed to maintain stable housing. These are the real-life stakes of this proposal. For millions of Americans living on the financial edge, this isn't abstract policy, it's about survival and dignity. But could there be unintended consequences? Some economists have raised concerns that injecting billions of dollars directly into the economy could potentially fuel inflation, the very problem the proposal seeks to address. Others argue that temporary fixes, however substantial, don't address the structural issues with Social Security's long-term funding. Sanders and his allies counter these arguments by pointing out that relief targeted specifically at lower and fixed-income Americans tends to flow directly back into the economy rather than being saved, creating positive economic ripple effects. They also emphasize that this proposal is meant to work alongside, not replace, more comprehensive Social Security reform efforts aimed at ensuring the program's solvency for future generations. Let's take a moment to address some common questions that might be on your mind. Would these payments affect my taxes? No, the proposal specifically designates the one-time payment as non-taxable income, and the monthly increases would follow the same taxation rules as your current benefits. Remember that while this proposal represents a potential landmark shift in how we support Americans on fixed incomes, It's also part of a longer conversation about comprehensive Social Security reform. Any short-term relief, however substantial, must be paired with sustainable long-term solutions that ensure these vital programs remain solvent for future generations. As we follow this developing story, it's important to maintain perspective and realistic expectations. While headlines promising immediate deposits may generate excitement, the legislative process rarely moves as quickly as we might hope. That said, the very existence of this proposal and the serious conversation it has sparked represent a meaningful shift in priorities that could ultimately lead to real relief. If you're struggling financially while waiting for potential government action, remember that there are existing resources that may help. Many states and local communities offer emergency assistance programs, property tax relief for seniors, utility payment assistance, and food security programs. Contact your local area agency on aging or community action program to learn what might be available in your area. The coming weeks will be critical for this proposal as it moves through congressional committees and faces amendments, compromises, and votes. We'll be following every development closely and bringing you the most accurate, up-to-date information available. As we watch this story unfold, one thing is clear: the conversation around supporting our most vulnerable citizens has taken center stage, and regardless of the ultimate fate of this specific proposal, the issues it addresses won't be going away anytime soon. If you found this information helpful and want to stay updated on all developments related to Social Security, retirement benefits, and financial assistance programs, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Your support helps us continue bringing you the most important news affecting your financial future. Have you or your loved ones been struggling with rising costs on a fixed income? How would these proposed benefits impact your life? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your story might help others in similar situations, and could even make a difference in the policy debate. That's all for today's video. Thank you for watching, and remember to check back regularly as we track the progress of this important proposal that could change the financial reality for millions of Americans. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.